You know that feeling when you grab a cheap outdoor cooler off the clearance rack, bring it home, and then a week later you're staring at warm beer and wondering why you didn't spend a little more? It's a tiny regret that turns into a full-blown hassle, especially when you've built an outdoor kitchen and the cooler is the centerpiece. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I'm going to walk through whether the Mont Alpi Bar Series Double Beverage Center actually feels like a smarter buy or just another fancy piece that ends up gathering dust. First off, the hesitation most buyers have isn't about looks. Most of us love the idea of a sleek, black stainless steel unit with granite countertops, blue LED accents, and a built-in faucet. The real worry is the outdoor rated claim. Does it truly hold its temperature when the summer hits 95 degrees? Or does it start to wobble in the heat like a cheap backyard fridge? That's the core of the risk. You could be paying a premium for a unit that sounds impressive on paper, but then you end up with a half-frozen bottle of wine on a hot afternoon. Let's put the product into the context of the outdoor beverage center market. Most people who invest in these units want two things: reliable cooling for both drinks and wine, and a seamless integration with the rest of their patio setup. Traditional portable coolers can be moved around, but they're exposed to the elements and often lack separate zones. Built-in beverage centers try to solve that by offering dual compartments, weatherproof construction, and a countertop for prep work. The trade-off is usually price, complexity of installation, and the need for a stable power source. Mont Alpi's offering ticks a lot of the boxes on paper. The cabinet is constructed from heavy-duty black stainless steel, which not only looks premium but also resists rust and corrosion, a real plus when you're leaving it out in the elements. The unit is described as outdoor rated, meaning the insulation and ceiling are meant to handle temperature swings and humidity. For anyone who's already got a grill, a pizza oven, or a built-in sink, the modular nature lets you slot the beverage center right next to those appliances, creating a cohesive kitchen island feel. The double-door design gives you separate zones, a refrigerator space for everyday drinks, and a wine cooler section that should stay a few degrees cooler. The granite countertop adds a solid work surface, and the integrated blue LED lighting gives a subtle nightlife vibe without being garish. The faucet and small sink are more than just aesthetic. They let you rinse glasses or fill a pitcher without heading back inside. In a real-world scenario, I can picture a weekend barbecue where guests are pouring chilled roast from the wine cooler while the grill master fills a pot of sauce at the sink without breaking the flow of the party. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that actually matter once you've installed the unit. First, the outdoor rating isn't just a buzzword. The heavy stainless steel shell and reinforced door seals do a decent job of keeping warm air out. In moderate climates, say, evenings that stay around 70 degrees, the fridge maintains a consistent chill, and the wine cooler stays in that sweet 55-58 degrees range without having to crank the thermostat. Second, the granite top is a real workhorse. It's heat-resistant enough to hold a hot pan for a minute or two, and it doesn't get scratched easily when you're moving bottles around. Third, the LED lighting is subtle but useful. You can actually see the bottles at night without turning on harsh patio lights, which is something a lot of people forget until they need it. On the flip side, the weaknesses become clearer when you dig into the details and the few ratings that are out there. The overall rating sits at 2.8 out of 5 from a small pool of reviewers, which hints that something isn't clicking for a chunk of owners. While I can't point to specific complaints, the low score usually signals issues like temperature inconsistency in very hot weather, a noisy compressor, or perhaps a more complicated installation than advertised. The unit is 46 inches tall with a 35-inch countertop height, which means you need a fairly tall cabinet space and a sturdy base, something not all backyard setups can accommodate without custom work. Also, the dual-zone system shares a single compressor, so if that one component fails, you lose both the fridge and the wine cooler, which can be a costly repair. Another hidden trade-off is the power draw. Outdoor beverage centers typically need a dedicated 120V outlet with enough amperage to keep the compressor running efficiently. If your patio only has a standard plug meant for lights or a grill, you might need an electrician to add a circuit. That adds to the overall cost, and it's an expense many first-time buyers overlook until the unit arrives. Lastly, the integrated faucet and sink sound great, but they also require a water line. If you don't already have a plumb point near the unit, you're looking at